Hello, everyone, and welcome to Transformers, brought to you by Platinum Games. No association with Activision. We didn't cut out a logo. What are you talking about?
Because I'm not offensive, I will, instead of saying or using filthy human language, I will introduce us with the universal greeting. Bar weep granag weep ninny bar.
I think it's actually the first time we've used that, considering how many times we've talked about Transformers. Or,
Well,
well, more like you've talked about Transformers and we've reacted to it.
Well, it's because, like, this is the beautiful thing about Transformers, is this hot mess, so there's always something new you can reference. Like, one of my favourite episodes is, because...
also for the audience, real quick, I have not played this game yet, like, at all.
Yeah.
So this is all gonna be fresh, so I will probably die.
Pro tip on chapter 3, pick Wheeljack.
Alright.
Or the first chapter where you're inside a facility, pick Wheeljack.
Alright.
It's a conversation you can have with a fortune-telling computer.
Oh, right, I remember
that. One of my favourite episodes of G1 is when they have to fight the evil power of Sub-Atlantica.
Ah, yes.
Oh?
As opposed to the actual Atlantica.
Yeah, they fight Sub-Atlantica, which is an underwater city populated by fish people. And Megatron has some great put-downs for the king of Sub-Atlantica.
Man, these cars are fucking old.
I mean...
Like, I saw a station wagon. Like, an old-ass station wagon.
It's the 80s, man.
It's supposed to take place in the 80s.
Oh. I just figured it was just the style of the robots.
No.
Well, they don't never specify when it happens, but considering that everyone is alive, it has to everyone here, like Wheeljack and is it Sideswipe who's in this?
Well, there's Soundwave and there's OG Megatron.
Basically, because all these G1 people who are here and not dead, it means it has to take place before 2005.
I mean, this is something about the Golden Age. Oh god, these are
sure.
a lot of these are some of the old voice actors, huh?
Yeah.
They are. In fact, I actually have a list of the people up so I could see who was actually returning.
You know the sick part about this is these characters were never meant to be animated this well.
They were meant to be animated this well for commercials and openings, never for, like...
Dialogue.
Well, I mean...
I think it's basically anyone who didn't die, so not Chris Latta.
Yeah, Starscream in this is voiced by Scott White.
Okay, this is my favorite thing, watching all these cars and then fucking Grimlock just running behind them.
And then Grimlock.
Me, Grimlock, going to be played!
Also, obviously, anyone voiced by Casey Kasem. Not returning.
Yeah. I have to be Grimlock. I just have to play him at least once.
Oh yeah, Grimlock's great.
It's Grimlock.
I think it's supposed to take place in like the early to mid 90s because it's not very futuristic yet.
Probably, I would say early, because like I said, I saw like station wagons, and like once you get to like the mid 90s, station wagons weren't really a thing anymore.
I mean,
like the way the cars are designed is more boxy than like mid 90s kind of cars.
I mean, I can't promise. I'm looking, but I'm not seeing any like official timeline. So all of our worries about Transformers canon, because it's so tightly controlled.
Yeah, come on!
And,
this
like,
is breaking the fucking canon here. When
So,
is the part when do we get to the episode where like the people where they forgot to animate the people and they're just hands?
I mean, that's an animation now. I'm talking about the fact that Devastator literally has 3 origins in the cartoon.
Doesn't Devastator get his ass kicked by some weird Constructicon that like Starscream accidentally makes?
No, it's like Menasor, who is like, well, actually, no, it's Menasor or Bruticus that Starscream builds.
No. Bruticus beats up Devastator, and then a Manosaur beats up him.
That was it, and then and then no one remembers Predaking.
Predaking was only in like 2 episodes.
Because Predaking was like Computron and came out in season 3 when, shit hit the fan, kind of.
No, Computron's opposite was that guys that showed up even less than Predaking. Abominus. I think he was only in like.
Abominus, right.
I mean, I don't think he was only in like maybe one episode, I think, or two.
God. I just love that Computron's origin is Grimlock becomes super smart, so he just builds a combiner.
Then he downloads his super smartness into them,
Yeah,
making them dumb again.
because Grimlock.
Because that's how it works.
Wow, and here I am just wondering, what happened to Skyfire?
Did he blow up?
No, he's just he's just never seen or mentioned after a point.
He never showed up after the Atlantis episode.
I assume it's because
I guess he drowned.
Well, I think it's probably because more likely Hasbro and Takara started like actually collaborating with them. Like, yeah, you can't like promote Bandai toys anymore
Fair.
because well, the problem actually Robotech might also be an issue. Or
Doesn't
Macross
Funimation
itself.
have the rights to Robotech now?
They might do.
Because I was
like-
seeing something like that. Because because I saw like what was it? Wendy Lee, who did the voice of one of the Bridge Bunnies. She was tweeting about it, and she was kind of hoping that because she's just saying I was in Funimation's hands now. She was kind of hoping that Funimation lets her reprise the role of Vanessa something.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that like Robotech. Oh wait, they have Robotech as opposed to Macross.
I think.
Well, it might be.
Oh no,
Macross,
I think Harmony Gold still has complete and total godlike control over everything involving that franchise over here.
Who knows? But yeah,
Definitely
probably
not.
actually like Macross issues was the reason why Skyfire was.
Why would you want to redub Robotech anyway? It's so bad.
I mean, better question.
It's just a lamer version of Macross that's like has extra episodes of a totally different show tacked onto it, so they.
I mean, they probably just
make
fucking
so they could make the syndication.
They would probably just make the dub of Macross, if anything.
They've already made a dub of Macross, and it was okay.
I mean, yeah, wasn't it like years and years ago though?
Surely,
I mean, it came out in like the mid early 2000s. That's not exactly
okay.
years and years ago.
Okay, so that's like actually when dubs were starting to get good. So
They even had the original Japanese VA of Minmay do the English version, which made her sound like she had a horrible Japanese accent. But I mean, it fit
because
the
she
character.
did have a horrible Japanese accent.
She did, yeah.
I mean, surely the better question is why bother hold on to the rights of property that you have, like not only you're not going to do anything with, but you have no intentions to do anything with, and you're not even in that game anymore. Like, is Harmony Gold release anything? No, I didn't think so.
I don't really think they
Apparently, a
have.
lot of the problem is on the Japanese end now because apparently, like
Even what?
apparently this one Japanese company wants Harmony Gold to have it because they don't want the other company to have it because they don't get. I don't know. They don't. It's one of those like it was a horribly constructed rights decision done 20 years ago when they're like nobody's going to care about this in 10 years. We just want to get as much money as we can now. Oh yes.
I will say at least though it did get like mechs popular in the West in a weird way. You know what's funny? A lot of them showing me how mechanics work in this game I already figured out by accident.
I mean, it's a platinum game. Like,
Oh yeah,
they're
no.
fairly-
I think it's cool because one thing I hate in video games is when they don't allow you to use mechanics because they didn't show you a prompt yet.
So before we get into into what this will eventually devolve to, remember that stupid thing from Transformers. I'm going to talk about the things I watched this week.
Oh yeah, actually, real quick, because I do want to mention because we were talking about I think it was after the recording we were talking about Excel Saga. I did start rewatching it a little bit. I haven't gotten that far, but yeah, the show really does hold up. It's really good.
Kind of incredible considering so much of it is like really sort of specific niche jokes.
I mean, like, what was it? Like, in episode, I think, 4, they just straight up parody the death of Julia in Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
And the way they parody the part where you can't hear Julia's line is fucking hilarious, where just a train goes by. That show is so much better than it has any right to be when you really think about it.
I mean, because it's an adaptation of a manga that's sort of joke about, economic downturn, whereas the show is a joke about the manga itself. So
And,
you
like,
basically have a parody of a parody that parodies everything.
Yeah, and it's And so, like, the original thing, too, like, it's, it's so, like, it does still, like, have stuff from the original, and, like, they do talk about, like, the whole economic problems, but it takes a backseat to the sheer insanity that becomes the series.
Well, like I said off recording, so I'll repeat. It's the difference is the manga has like the setup of, hey, they're poor, so then they have to work all of these dead end jobs to scrape by and make ends meet because the economy sucks. Whereas, and that's the sort of the entire point of the series and making jokes about that. Whereas the anime uses that as a framing device of, well, now these characters have to get all these dead end jobs to try and not die horribly and resort to eating the dog.
Yeah.
So now we use this as an excuse to say, yeah, now they're teachers in a high school. Yeah, now they're fighting. Now they're off in space. It's a framing device as opposed to a focus, I guess.
Yeah.
But speaking of, I watched Shazam this week.
Oh, nice. How was it?
It was pretty good.
I told you.
Like, I like the Scottish guy from the Scottish guy from Kingsman's there. The Country Roads guy. The guy who sings Country Roads.
Yeah,
I
know
think
you're talking
that's
about.
it. Yeah. So he's doing an American accent that's a bit like, well, yeah, but I'm only ever going to hear you as a Scotsman. That's the problem. So, but yeah, he's pretty cool, and I mean, he was all right as a villain. But hey, Billy was a pretty cool guy. Like, he was a bit of a scumbag, but that was okay. He was the appropriate level of scumbag. And also, there's a hilarious scene where he meets his mother. I mean, it's not meant to be funny, but I remember joking as I was watching it. Is this going to just be a thing where she just didn't... I'm not going to say anymore, in case so you can watch it. But yeah, it was pretty good. They actually aged up Mary to college age, and I wonder if that was to avoid the issue you had with Mary in the comic books, where they... there was that one period where they sexed her up a lot.
Oh, you mean when she turned evil?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's still a kid, though, transforming, so it's like,
Yeah, so I wonder if they aged up Mary specifically in case
avoid
they
that.
In case they
I mean,
stuck to that.
Then there's towards the end.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a pretty fun movie, all things considered. I like that it's the first DC movie that treats the heroes like superheroes. Everyone.
As opposed to like
Well,
this
people-
horrible burden.
Yeah, people love Superman in Shazam. In fact, Superman gets a lot more lip service than Batman does, bizarrely enough.
Oh, that can't stand. DC's gonna have a fit.
But yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it.
Oh,
And then
DC is giving up. DC is like, whatever. Our plan wasn't working out. Let's just go crazy with this thing.
Fuck it. Birds of Prey looks like trash. I don't care. We don't care. We're just making it. People like Margot Robbie. And
Basically,
then-
like people like the Margot Robbie and Suicide Squad. So let's
and then it gives people
let's
like,
just try and milk that.
and then it gives people like a million more, like a whole bunch more excuses to repost that same fucking image from Wolf of Wall Street again and again and again.
It's true.
Like, but anyway, so then after that, you guys, before I get into this, you guys ever seen the Snowman? Really nice animated movie, Christmas movie about a kid who meets a snowman.
Are we? Oh, no, I'm thinking of Jack Frost.
No, it's not. It's animated. You've probably seen it, not like maybe not watched it, but seen the Snowman.
Which Jack Frost? Because there's the slasher movie, and then there's the one with Michael Keaton.
The one where where it's the dad, where the snowman is the dad.
Okay.
That's the one I'm talking about. But that's
There's
not
also
an
one where a
animated
guy
movie.
turns into an evil killer snowman that is also named Jack Frost, and it's kind of disturbing.
So anyway, go
Also
ahead.
Really,
What were you gonna say,
really
Fran?
stupid. Yes.
So yeah, the Snowman, which is this famous children's book and animated feature. If I a picture of the cover, as I said, you'll probably recognize it.
I don't
So
think I've
anyway.
ever seen that one.
So anyway, this author did another book called When the Wind Blows, which is about this kindly old couple in the English countryside. And then a nuclear bomb goes off. And they survive the blast, and then they survive the blast, but then they die horribly they die sort of horribly and
Oh, is
slowly
that
of
that
radiation
one?
poisoning.
Oh wait, that animated movie. I've heard about that.
Yeah, when the wind blows. So I watched that because someone reminded me of it. So I rewatched it and I was like, oh man, nuclear Armageddon is horrifying. Let's go down this rabbit hole. So I started on Barefoot again for a bit. Barefoot, in case you don't know, Barefoot Gen is a manga specifically about the Hiroshima bombings. But the extra twist to the extra like sort of knife is that it's actually written and drawn by a Hiroshima survivor. So when he's talking about the things that this like little kid is going through in Hiroshima, yeah, a lot of that's real.
It's the stuff he literally saw.
Yeah. So that was
Is that like the Grave of the Fireflies?
It's probably sadder because, you know. Well, I know the movie it gets like fucking dark with showing the bomb, like the actual bomb drop, because it has like people's eyeballs melting and shit. Barefoot Gen just has like really like there's like violence and gore, but it's not quite that explicit. It's also like sort of after the last stuff. So yeah, I went down that rabbit hole. It was a bit depressing.
Sounds like it.
I mean, man,
I've heard of that movie before, so like I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
So I know what you're talking about.
Well, it's just more the case where it's like it gets like it's incredibly well done as a comic because like the actual there's 2 pages that are devoted to the bomb, like the blast, and they're just white. Like you have like your setup. Oh no, the bomb's going to drop in like 4 minutes. 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, and then 2 whole pages of just white. So it's a really effective way. Yeah, the book's pretty good. The movie's pretty good. It's basically about how horrible nuclear explosions are, as it turns out.
Who would have thought?
The lucky ones die in the blasts, as we realise. Yeah, that was my very emotionally touched. But hey, Trails of Cold Steel 3 came out, and I've been playing that, and that's fun.
Yes.
Now the protagonist gets to be the Animu teacher, but he's actually effectual unlike every other teacher. Oh, not too far. Not too far.
Also, not much changes. He still runs around solving everyone's problems.
Yeah. Whereas before, when he's a student, he has to solve everyone's problems, and now he's the teacher, and he still has to solve everyone's problems. But now he also has the added issue of being famous.
Yes.
And also, like, having a bunch of students who fucking hate him because he sort of was involved in annexing all their homes.
Rip.
It's not his. I mean, bit awkward, but it's fun so far.
Oh fuck!
Oh.
Bumblebee cannot take a hit.
I mean, because he's a tiny little VW bug.
True. He is fast as fuck though.
Now the characters from other series are finally starting to show up again.
Yeah, and there's good old Randy from Zero and Owl.
The series you didn't play.
And Shirley, who's I've just got to the bit where Shirley and Duvalie have a scene together, and it's
Yeah, that's basically what she does in Owl too.
Just be a weird,
weird, creepy psycho molester.
Yeah, sounds about right.
She's actually
Fine.
less psycho here than she is in the original, so.
I guess she mellowed out over the years, or months,
Yeah, she mellowed out over the 2 years slightly, and by that I mean she doesn't go around chainsawing people for fun anymore.
Hey, at least it's something.
I guess that's progress, but yeah,
Yes.
that's fun, but I'm not far enough into it to mean any matter or anything, just get no respect from these students. Because one hates you because I'm pretty sure you annexed her home, and then the other one is kind of indifferent because he has 2 swords and you only have 1 sword. I guess.
Yes.
I don't know what Kurt Steele is.
Kurt Steele is that Kurt Steele is that he has to use 2 swords instead of 1 like Mueller because he's too much of a twink to.
Ah, that was it. Because he's not like
Basically.
big and burly like his brother, even though their body shapes don't actually look that different. Sort of the problem with the style, I guess.
He's like, I have to use 2 tiny swords instead of 1 big sword. I'm using the style all wrong.
And he is, I guess, emotionally crippled about that.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Reen's just like, well, at least I got my robot. But yeah. So, oh, I guess the other news, Fallout 76 is back.
Oh God.
Just when Bethesda thought they might have got away with it thanks to the Blizzard thing, they're like, by the way, $100 subscription for Fallout 76.
No one, I swear, and nobody had better pay for this, or I'm going to personally drive over to where they are and slap them.
I just find it funny.
Did you learn nothing from the first time they tried this?
I just find it funny that, you know, they do it like, it's almost like this is a competition at this point. So EA does all their dark shit, and then Blizzard's like, well, Activision is like, don't worry, here's our latest thing. And then Bethesda's like, we're not going to be outdone at this.
You think you can out-asshole us?
Give me money.
Listen, Blizzard, stop taking up the controversy news. That's our job with our Fallout game.
I mean,
Stop
Internet
it.
Historian did this like brilliant video on just how horrible everything that had to do with Fallout 76 was.
And
it's not even done yet.
They're like, we can do more.
It is the story that never ends.
It's was it Jim Sterling? He calls the game the gift that keeps on taking.
I mean, hasn't taken anything from me, but yeah.
Well, he just means like in terms of just how
Every
shit
time.
it is.
Comes back. But yeah, so that was it. Amusing. I guess if we're gonna keep this whole balance, like fun, happy stuff with sad stuff, like 39 people turned up dead in a lorry in Britain like 2 days ago.
Jesus.
So
Actually, Bumblebee's really fun to play. Sorry to just kind of jump.
no,
with
it's
that,
okay.
but
We're doing this. We're just going like light, dark.
So, well, okay, what killed them?
Suffocation, I think. I think it was a people smuggling thing.
Oof.
Oh,
Yeah.
you do that over there too, huh?
But yeah, so that was fun. So anyway, Transformers though.
I just punched Megatron in the dick to that.
Oh,
I think
so
I'm Wheel. Which one's Wheeljack, by the way?
the one with
That's
the
the-
flat, the one who talks when his head lights up.
The one with the wings.
Yeah.
He's like
is-
white and
what's-
green. He's like white.
White. Okay, so I'm not playing him. I'm playing the red car.
That's
That's
Sideswipe.
yeah, sideswipe. What are you gonna say, Sabo?
So they released a trailer for Persona 5 Scramble.
Oh yeah. What is
and,
Scramble?
It's kind of it's like the Dynasty War. It's like a Dynasty Warriors kind of like action RPG type thing where
Oh right.
apparently it's a sequel to Persona 5, like a year later during their
It's
summer
like them.
vacation.
Yeah, they're like having like a road trip around the country.
A road
From
trip
what I
around the
understand.
country, and like demons are showing up in reality now, and also the government is after them because they still remember that he was they still know his identity, and there's this guy that they're running from who basically looks like Shido if he was like 10 years younger.
Ah, so it must be the clone. I don't know what it is. It's the clone of Shido.
Maybe. And also Akechi and Kasumi aren't in it, which means they either gave away the ending of Royal by saying that something happens to them, or in Akechi's case something happens to them again, or that since it was developed at the same time because they're using the original game's assets instead of Royal's upgraded ones, that it means it's either Royal or this game isn't going to be canon. So
No.
people are like, oh no, it's
No,
confusing again.
No, I'll tell you what's actually gonna happen. DLC, my
Well, they're gonna-
friend.
I mean,
Yeah,
I know they're going to
DLC.
be. They're obviously going to be DLC, but like, are they
Or
going
they'll
to
just, or they might like bullshit like, oh, they're busy.
probably? I'm because like when the first Arena game came out, like none of the new stuff added in Golden was in it because they both came out at around the same time.
Yeah, and then
So all of a sudden in the second one, Maria was like, "Oh yes, I was busy during the first game, doing this."
I wish you were busy dying, Marie. That's not fair, but it is.
No one likes Marie.
Well,
Yeah. Only idiots like Marie.
Will people like Kasumi is the question.
I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out when the game comes out.
Assuming she even survives the end of the game.
That doesn't mean shit.
He's right, you know.
That is true.
Like, Shinjiro's still, like, super popular.
That's right.
In
And he
fact,
was only in the game for like a month.
he's probably, like, the second most popular P3 character. Well, for its player
It's
character.
alright, the female protagonist is popular now because of Q2.
Ah,
Like, people
Well-
annoyed her. I mean, people ignored her for years, and now she's like I think she's like the 3rd or 4th most popular character.
makes sense.
Because a lot of people didn't play the PSP game. It
Well,
is actually the better route of the two.
Well, in Japan they did, because the PSP was big in Japan,
Yes.
bafflingly.
Well, they like. They
I
like
mean, to
their
be fair, the
handhelds.
Vita did outsell the Wii U.
I mean, a
It's
lot.
not a
of
joke.
I know, but a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
the
them
point
have
is,
sold the Wii U.
it's less of a compliment at the Vita and more of an insult at the Wii U.
Now, speaking of Nintendo consoles,
Yes,
what is up with that Switch? It's so tiny.
I mean it is a handheld.
I guess it looks much bigger in the pictures. I finally started setting mine up yesterday, and it was like I felt like I was Will Smith in Men in Black. Like, I feel like I'm gonna break this thing.
And then it's funny because it breaks him.
Yes. Well, it did. I mean, it didn't launch me into the wall, but I was like, "What is this?" I thought it would be like bigger.
I mean, if it was the 90s, it would launch you into the wall, like all those adverts promised me would happen.
You know, I'm still disappointed that every time I played Crossfire, my opponent didn't fly off and explode.
Yeah, really.
Speaking of 90s advertisements and their lies.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of like good classics Transformers episodes. And it's like there's so many. One of my favorites is when Blitzwing and Astro Train, I might have mentioned this on recording before, decide that they're going to break away from the Decepticons and form their own factions. And so
Yes.
Astro Train decides to like put a whole bunch of like AI inside trains, but you know they're just like stupid AI, like game AI level, so they just randomly crash into each other and walls and shit. And Blitzwing's plan is that, or realizes that he can't do it alone, so he recruits a American football coach to teach him tactics. And the
And
American
it almost
football
worked for a minute.
what the American football coach's argument is, well, we need zone defense, which Blitzwing naturally interprets as convince the Constructicons to build like a labyrinthian like freeway, so that the Autobots will literally be stuck there traveling forever and ever and ever in an endless cycle until they're not.
Makes about as much sense as anything else he does.
I mean, it makes as much sense as anything in G1. Remember that time when the Decepticons dressed up as the Autobots so they could frame them?
Yes.
And
Yes, I know.
Starscream, what's more impressive is that Starscream is in the video attacking the Autobots, but he's also the one dressed up as Prime.
That's pretty impressive.
It is.
Gotta give him credit.
And it's not even like the usual
Maybe
case
he
of-
really should be the leader of the Decepticons.
And it's not even
You
like
don't
the
see
usual-
Megatron doing that.
It's
Being
not
two
even like-
places at once.
But it's not even like the usual case where they had like multiple Starscreams where it was just like a colouring fuck up, because God forbid Thundercracker and Skywarp had consistent colourings. Because he has a
Consistent colors,
speaking
and you can
role.
just not.
Oh,
I like how this red guy with the flamethrower is basically just the Raiden of this game.
I like how the Transformers wiki has a page devoted to yellow boots.
Good. Well, Transformers Wiki is a fucking godsend.
One of my favourite pages is always like the pages on like the Marvel superheroes, specifically the Hulks, because they point out the complete stupidity of giving the Hulk a suit of armor, but they cap it off with, to most people, this would be stupid. Not to Reed Richards though. Reed Richards is a genius.
It's okay. He later put him in space,
Yeah, well, that was
and
all
nothing bad came of that.
A lot of
Man
bad things
killed
came of that.
Bambi's mother.
What? No. Reed Richards never brought anything bad in the world at all, ever.
But yeah.
No, that would be Hank Pym.
Well, he only made the one super villain.
Yeah. When you think about it, Hank Pym for a Marvel hero has a very low track record of making villains.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, to be fair, it's arguable. It's kind of arguable if Reed Richards made Doom because Doom was always an asshole.
Oh, I wasn't even counting Doom. I was counting like actively make.
Well, I mean, Reed Richards was also a supervillain for a while. You know, when they built that trans-dimensional prison for all of their friends.
Yeah.
That happened. I mean, it's still somewhat relevant to talk about Marvel Comics because for a long time, Transformers and Marvel were interlinked.
Yeah.
Now it's all
True.
IDW.
Oh god, it's Tank Megatron. It's not Gun Megatron.
No,
Yes.
yeah, they decided to do Tank Meg.
I'm all for that, actually. I like
just-
Tank Meg.
It makes more sense, really.
Let's face it, Gun Megatron is never coming back. Literally, everyone is like, that's stupid.
Well,
It
it's
is
not
stupid.
it's not even that it's stupid. It's that it also severely hinders the toys you can make. Because, like, I don't know if you guys know the sheer level of restrictions involved with, like, having a gun shape, with having, like, a toy that looks like a semi-realistic gun.
Yeah, you can't.
Oh
have
yeah,
it,
yeah. I think it had problems back when it came out too.
No, not when it first came out, but then, like,
No, because
there-
that incident didn't happen yet.
but then, like, it started to become more and more of a problem.
In like the early '90s, there was a high-profile incident where like a cop shot this little kid because he had a gun, or he
And it
had
was
a toy gun that looked very realistic. So afterwards, they're like, okay, we have to paint them all really orange now.
Or give them the bright orange tip.
I give them the bright orange tip so nobody could possibly be confused.
So,
It's okay. The LA cops are still confused.
because, like, what's his face? Gun Megatron. Well, because Transformers do a figure line called Masterpiece, which is basically like trying to release toys that are as show accurate as possible, which is like baffling levels of engineering involved in making these things work. And so Gun Megatron never got an official release in the West because it's a gun.
They have to
Right.
modify it to put the orange tip on
Yeah.
because we can't have those LA cops,
So that's why Megatron is now always going to be a tank or an Osprey or
But even,
some.
but even if he's not, like most directors don't really like the concept anyway.
I mean, we say this, and then like those movies are literally full of size changing.
No, it's less side changing and more. They don't like the idea that he has to turn into a weapon that somebody else has to use. They're like, what the hell?
It does look kind of weird when you're the
Someone's
leader.
like it's like Darth Vader turning into a lightsaber that somebody else has to wield.
It is weird when he's like supposed to be the big bad.
Yeah, but then Darth Vader did actually get a Transformer toy like that, except it would instead of a lightsaber, it was the Death Star.
Oh yeah, because they all had made like these Transformer toys where it was their what was it?
It was their like iconic shit or like Star Wars ships or things that were.
At least the Death Star can do stuff. Like it wasn't necessarily that he turns to a gun, but it's like he turns to a gun that couldn't fire on his own.
So that's how
He has to-
that's
he
how
has
you
to
know.
have somebody. He has to have somebody pick him up and shoot
Yeah,
him.
because Galvatron was like a mortar cannon.
Yeah.
Galvatron was something mostly insane.
It was
my
a space gun.
My favorite episode of Galvatron was that time when Cyclonus was like, "Yeah, okay, I admit, guys, Galvatron is nuts. I'm going to get him committed to this psychiatric planet." And then he's still so fucking crazy, he fucking breaks the planet.
Yes,
Oh.
they cure people by plugging them into their planet to have their planet's brain healed them. Galvatron is so crazy he makes the planet explode.
But it has one of my favorite Galvatron lines where they're asking him, "How do you feel?" And he's saying, "I feel angry."
My memory of G1 is really shit. Was this fucking computer a thing in G1?
Teletran 1, yes, voiced by
Okay.
Casey Kasem. It was the computer on board their ship that would be like, "Hey guys, Decepticons are doing bad shit in the Arctic. You should probably go look at it."
Yeah.
And then Prime would be all, "Yeah," until Casey
until
Kasem.
well, even before he quit, like at the beginning of season 1, for some reason they blow up their ship. I mean, they hadn't actually needed it for years at that point because they had a city. and like several settlements on Earth, but it's just like for some reason the first 5 saga episode of season 3 has them like just blow up the Ark for some reason.
Probably because Casey Kasem quit.
Maybe.
So, yeah,
It's just like, oh no, they destroyed our ship that nobody actually lived in anymore and was completely worthless because we have several working ships now. So
there's a line in this game where
congratulations.
there's a line in this game where Bumblebee finds it ridiculous to consider that another pair of Cybertronian ships could crash land on the same planet.
Good. It is pretty ridiculous, to be fair.
Well, it's less ridiculous when you realize it was all according to Keaku.
Ah, I see.
Like, well, that's the whole point. Is Beast Wars Megatron like intentionally plans to crash land on Earth, specifically Primordial Earth, because his plan is literally to assassinate the Autobots before they can wake up, thus like basically guaranteeing the Decepticons win the Great War.
Except they don't realize they crashed on Earth for the entire first season.
Well, I think Megsy does.
I don't think he does.
Actually, wait, Dinobot says a line about how this can't be Earth because Earth, like, Energon's shit is like all too functional.
Well, no, it's because when they land, there's 2 moons, so they're like, oh, this is some...
Okay, so right now
But then-
in the game, I can play as Optimus, Bumblebee, and Sideswipe.
Yeah. Oh, I'll just play as them then.
But then at the end of season 1, it turns out one of the moons was an alien weapon.
Did you say Sideswipe was the one that I should use for the one thing? Oh no, it was Wheeljack.
Yeah, I don't think it's just. I think it's yeah. It has to be when you go inside the big facility.
I kind of preferred Optimus and Bumble, so which one do I want to play as?
It's just basically so the computer can set. So Wojin could be like, "What's my future like?" And the computer's just like, "What future?"
He's like, yeah, you're probably gonna die.
Wojin.
Wow, no wonder I didn't really care for Wheeljack. His stats in combat kind of suck.
That's because he's a scientist, but he's not a very good scientist. I love.
I was basically like, okay, so which one? So I was like, okay, let me look at the stats of all these characters, these 3, and see who is best at what. And then I just realized Wheeljack just kind of sucks.
I love
Like
Wheeljack.
he's not like the muscle, not Wheeljack. Fucking Sideswipe.
Oh,
like,
Sideswipe. Yeah, who cares?
Because Optimus and Bumblebee, like they both fit a niche. You have Optimus as your balance, Bumblebee as your speed, and then this fucking asshole over here, he can drive a little faster is about it.
Sideswipe's pretty much just in the game because his voice actor hadn't died yet.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Like,
I mean, I forget what his. I think his gimmick in the show was that he had a jetpack.
I mean, on the base that Sideswipe was in like 2 episodes, maybe, which is marginally better than what most other Autobots got, who weren't like the primary 12 or whatever it was. Like,
I'm actually having trouble deciding between Bumblebee and Optimus because I like them both.
it's like Sideswipe
Shit.
has more going for him than Inferno ever had.
It's true. You know what, I'll let you guys pick which one, Optimus or Bumblebee, because I like both. Because they're both fun to play, I like both their characters.
Optimus.
Alright.
Always go with the big guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I used to like Bumblebee, but
Then he stopped talking.
the movies have changed him. Now he doesn't talk anymore.
This Bumblebee does.
I know, but I still can't.
You can't forget.
I can't not see it.
I like that I can give Optimus Prime a big fuck-off hammer.
Yeah, it's the specifically it's the hammer that Ultra Magnus uses in animated.
I can
which,
also give him...
hilariously enough, Prime does wield in animated because he uses.
Oh, I can also just give him... I can just let him punch, too.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot of shit I can do.
Yeah, a lot of replayability in this game.
Yeah, You know what? I'm always a big fan of just punching people. I'm gonna do the punch. For my ranged weapon. What do I want to use? God, there's a lot. Jeez.
I love Wheeljack, not necessarily in this game, but in general, because he's just the scientist, but he's also the worst.
Go on, I want to hear about how he's the worst.
Well, he built the Dinobots.
To be realistic.
Yeah, so they build the Dinobots mostly just because they find some dinosaur bones, and they're like, these seem cool, let's build robot dinosaurs. But he builds them just like real dinosaurs, so they have simple brains. So they go crazy and like tear up the place because they have simple brains, Optimus.
Good.
but then he has to build then he manages to increase their intelligence marginally because the Dinobots aren't really smart.
They're not smart, but they don't just start like smashing apart the first thing they see.
Yeah, they have
Usually.
to. Yeah, Megatron has to ask them very nicely for them to start doing that again. Whereas Megatron just sort of slides up to Grimlock one day and is just like, "Hey, you're probably stronger than Prime. Why don't you go beat him up?" And Grimlock's like, "That is a great idea. Me and Grimlock go do that."
So wait. So Megatron says beat up Optimus Prime. He's like, Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. Well, Prime's like, "Grimlock, you and the Dinobots guard this place." And Grimlock's like, "That's dumb. You're dumb. I don't like this." And Prime is like, "Whatever, just do it." So then Megs comes along, and Grimlock's like, "Me, Grimlock, think I should be crushing you, but me, I'm interested in hearing what you have to say." And Megatron's like, "You could probably beat up Prime. Do it. Just do it. Beat him up. Get him."
So they do.
And then he does, and then it works. Until someone's like, "Grimlock, you don't even like Megatron." And he's like, "Oh yeah." Good old Grimlock.
Me, Grimlock.
Well, this was back when Grimlock was actually a humongous threat and not, a meme. So before season 3. Because
Pretty much.
when I mentioned the Sub-Atlantica thing, it has this great sort of Grimlock. Grimlock has so many great lines because he starts off with me, Grimlock, getting tired of bailing you guys out. And then when he and Megatron square off, Megatron's like, "I'm not afraid of you." And Grimlock's response is, "Me and Grimlock love fighting stupid enemies."
I loved Grimlock as a kid because look
He's
at
a
him.
robot dinosaur, and he's
And he's go ahead.
yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
He said he's a robot dinosaur and he cut out.
I just meant, and he's big bruiser. He was the big guy before Devastator. In fact, he specifically fights off Devastator a number of times.
Somehow.
Well, they have team tactics, whereas Devastator.
Well, you see,
has,
when they were rebuilt on Earth,
By the way, don't
when
forget
they were
about
rebuilt on Earth, they were rebuilt fragilely. This is before they built Megatron, and then he brainwashed them to be evil. You see.
Yeah.
Grimlock, not bozo. Me, king.
I fucking love that entire second origin of the Constructicons building Megatron comes about because the aerial bots who form Superion are like, "Man, the Constructicons are super cool though. I like the cut of the Decepticons jib, And then Silverbot's like, "That's fucking dumb. You guys are fucking dumb." Well, they have to go back in time to realize that the Decepticons are assholes.
Good. Kill the bugs. Kill them all.
Not the Insecticons.
I'm killing them. They're dead.
They'll come back.
They always come back. Except that time where Kickback got his head crushed by Hot Rod and Cut.
No, they still came back somehow.
Oh, right, because they get rebuilt. Oh, right, and then also animation errors.
Well, no, not even animation errors. There's a lot of Insecticons running around in a couple of season 3 episodes, even though all of the main ones were all killed in the movie, and reformatted into different characters because.
Fuck you.
It's like when Ultra Magnus just kills 2 of the other not Starscream clone jets by just punching them into a building until they explode. And they're somehow in another episode anyway, and it's not an animation error because they talk.
Why not? They're robots, who cares?
I like how for all the hype of getting Hot Rod to be Rodimus Prime, and we're changing the leader, Rodimus barely appears in season 3.
Because nobody liked him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they caught on by then that nobody really liked him.
So then they're like, "Yeah, here's Ultra Magnus, whose toy is literally just white Optimus Prime."
It's true.
So it was
Well, it's funny how like we talked about it 100 times about like how GI Joe and it were both did the same thing where they attempted to
Kill everyone off and
set up the new toys because they have that guy who's set up to be basically New Duke, the one who Sergeant Slaughter fucks with.
Yeah.
Auto jerk. Good. I'm glad the one-liners are bad.
Well, yeah, it's because he just lets Cobra into their highly secure prison because he decided to blow off guard duty to go flirt with this girl.
Yeah. Oh no, it makes sense. It's just funny, like when you think about it, like when you think about like what they were doing when they were making it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
But I'm pretty sure the only one who was actually supposed to die was Duke, and even then they wussed out on that.
Well, they wished out.
I feel like there were other ones that were supposed to die. Like I think a lot of the ones in that one part that just get taken away because they're just like standing there with no like voice lines. So I think a lot of characters were actually supposed to die, but they just showed them in the thing in the end and be like, hey, they're not dead. Please,
oh, maybe.
Please don't be mad.
But yeah.
I mean, not that many Season 1 Transformers characters die either. A lot of them just disappeared.
Ironhide,
the four guys on the shuttle, and then Wheeljack and the other guy.
Wheeljack and Sideswipe or Sunstreaker. I think it's Sideswipe, or maybe it's Bluestreak. But yeah, they try and pretend that Jazz and Bumblebee are dead.
But then they survived.
Somehow.
And then Jazz stopped appearing anyway because his voice actor died.
No, I'll do it.
It's like how Casey Kasem's Cliff Jumper survived, but he quit because of that episode, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
They might as well have killed him.
We kept Casey Kasem's character alive. It'd be a shame if we really offended him with something terribly racist.
I mean, it's that kind of level of like outstandingly horrible that you question how nobody at any point in development of that
was
episode
like, hey, no? Yeah, it is fucked. It's like, yeah, you're exactly right. It's like, how did you can't even argue time. It's so fucking, like, blatant.
Well, it's like it's within the first 2 episodes of season 3 do they introduce it as well. So it's that case where like there were so many levels that this had to get checked by that it got okayed at. That it's like how did nobody stop and think, yeah, maybe not this.
I mean, it was relevant to an entire like several episode arc.
Yeah, it was important.
It's not even like a throwaway gag. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it didn't. It only came up in that one episode spins off to him being kicked out, which spins off to him finding Starscream's ghost, which was like 2 episodes.
Yeah, I remember. Fucking Starscream's ghost.
So not only is car bombing the worst thing ever, it actually mattered to the plot.
Yeah. It is truly the Mirakuru of the 80s. Bringing it all back.
Fuck. God damn it. Doing the vehicle slam is actually a real pain in the ass when you're timed.
Yeah.
On the plus side, at least I can just try it again.
Why the Autobots tended to not hit each other in their car forms. They generally prefer to just shoot at each other ineffectually. I always love there's this one episode, I think it's season 1 episode, where like Megatron gets like lightly grazed and he falls over, and Starscream's immediate response is, Megatron has fallen!
I, Starscream, am your new leader! Decepticons, follow me! What was it? There was like one episode too where like his vocal cord isn't working, and he's just like, oh, poor Megatron! I am now the leader of Decepticons!
This is a fucking great episode.
There was actually, that's funny. There was a conversation because we were talking about Persona earlier that me and the person had, because they're saying like, oh yeah, Kasumi and Joker aren't gonna get along. She's gonna try and coax people away from him. And we started making these jokes about Kasumi being Starscream. Like anytime Joker just like flubs a little bit, she just like does the fucking Starscream shit.
But you want to know what one of the best moments with that is like there's a point where Skywarp is like having to guard a temple and the Autobots rock up and he's like, I don't really want to fight you guys, and also I don't really like Starscream, so if I let you in, he'll get in trouble, so go ahead. And then Starscream overhears this and it's like, traitor! It's like of all the cons to say that. God. I love Starscream.
Yeah, I just like to imagine Starscream with that fucking image I showed you of Char, the I never betrayed anyone.
I never betrayed it.
Never betrayed anyone in my life, Hemon.
My favorite thing is that I fucking love that shot. It's because I follow the was it Gundam was it UC Gundam out of context, and it's one of my favorites just because of shit like that.
I mean,
Hamon has some pretty good ones too.
I mean, Gundam has EC Gundam has a lot of goofy shit.
It does.
I always fucking love that the entire plot of Zeta is kicked off because Camille is like
Camille is a petulant child.
Yeah, because he gets like fucking homicidal rage because the guy doesn't even call him a girl. He's just like, is there a girl around here called Camille?
Yeah, Camille,
and then his response,
isn't it? His response is to hop over the turnstile and just punch him in the face.
And then hijack a Gundam so he can threaten to kill him.
He's like, what were you going to do when you stole this mobile suit in the militarized area? And it's like, I wasn't thinking that far ahead. I just wanted to punch him because he made fun of my name.
Fucking Camille. And that's
there's a lot I do love about OG Gundam though. It like 78 I actually really like.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to like about 79, but always gonna make fun of the Gundam Hammer.
Oh yeah. Especially because every time you reference Gundam Hammer, Tomino screams internally.
But, you know, if we can't talk about UC Gundam without referencing that one time Katajina from Victory Gundam decided that the best way to fight a 13-year-old boy was to send a battalion of armed with bazooka bikini babes to attack him. And so his natural response is, oh, bikini babes in space, I must be crazy, I'm just gonna kill them.
This can't be happening. I'm just losing my marbles right now. This is fine.jpg.
And then, if you bought like a specific DVD collection of Victory Gundam, there was a note inside it from Tono that said, "Don't watch this."
Wait, the whole series or that part?
Victory. Well, all of Victory, because yeah, that's probably the best part of Victory, if I'm right.
I think the other thing that's funny is that Victory is the reason why G Gundam exists.
Yeah.
Also, a fun note, G Gundam is very divisive in Japan, but it's very popular in the West, and the creator G Gundam is like so happy that like it got popular over here.
Like, I'm glad someone understands my genius.
I'm glad someone else appreciated Street Fighter. I thought, what if we had Street Fighter but with robots?
It's true. It's very true.
I mean, is Master Asia not like just fundamentally Akuma mixed with Goken?
I think was Akuma around at that time yet? Because Akuma came later.
Akuma was like 94 or something like that, because he's Street Fighter 2 Turbo, right?
Turbo? I don't think he was in Turbo.
Time to Google Akuma and hope that it just comes up with Akuma the character and not... oh no, it came up with a million upper Akumas. I regret.
Demon.
Akuma is Japanese for demon.
Well, you can try Goki, because Goki is his Japanese name.
No, I've already got him now. Blah blah blah, voice actors, blah blah blah, motion capture, live action, blah, I don't give a shit. Where's the Street Fighter? Yeah, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. He was in Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Okay, so what year did that come out?
94.
What year was G Gundam being a thing?
Back to Google.
Because I know he was also heavily inspired by like Hong Kong action flicks, because he was really big on
94,
those.
1994.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's actually possible.
Story checks out.
It could go either way, honestly. Given
I'll be
the time of
honest.
production.
When you were like busy explaining that, I was just thinking, hopefully he's going to say he was heavily inspired by Hong Kong Phooey, which is slightly relevant because Hong Kong Phooey and Janice shared a VA.
Oh god, I'm dead. Yeah,
killed him.
repair me, please.
That reference was so bad it killed him.
Oh, everyone loves Hong Kong Phooey.
Apparently Optimus Prime didn't.
He's the #1 super guy. And he's quicker than the human eye.
You know, to be fair, I think that the most racist one that Hanna-Barbera did was this one. It was one of those Scooby-Doo ripoffs. It was called The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan.
Oh god.
That's actually its name. I'm not making jokes.
I've seen it.
This is for the audience.
It was
Oh yeah, I think we were talking about these like once, like out of like not in a recording. I think we were talking about like this.
I was talking about this Scooby-Doo and Mystery Inc. specifically because they did that one episode which was all of the like.
Oh yeah, I think that was actually in recording, and I referenced it, and then
Yeah.
I showed. Oh wait, I think I might have. No, it was at a call because I remember showing you the intro, and you're just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So it was just basically it was an episode of Mystery Inc. where they had all of the Scooby-Doo clones like crossover because they had like Captain Caveman, the Funky Phantom.
I know they Scooby-Doo did cross over with them a couple of times. Anyway.
No, but this was more like tongue-in-cheek of.
Oh yeah, it was complete tongue-in-cheek.
This is stupid. This
Yeah.
wasn't like actually trying to make you give a shit about the Funky Phantom or.
Yeah.
Did Captain Caveman come from the Flintstones, or was he from that Captain Caveman and the?
He was from that, and I think at some point he got brought into it.
He was brought into it in one of the many like.
Later episodes, because like around the time they had like the fucking kazoo and shit.
The Great Kazoo.
Which the Flintstones, am I right? God,
Flintstones, me the Flintstones, Granddad.
it is kind of tragic that I remember all of these old cartoons that are like way older than me, but like we're probably the last generation that will remember these things.
Because of reruns.
Well, yeah, because they don't really. Well, yeah, because they don't really air a lot of old shit on TV anymore.
Also, because all the shit that we watched, we actually watched that was new at the time, is the old shit now.
Yeah,
Because now they'll be like, look at this quaint like
it's
ancient
similar to like.
cartoon,
It's similar to like.
Ninja Turtles.
It's similar to like. What was it? There was a. There was a series. Oh yeah, no, it's not a series. There was a radio station around where I live called Oldies 98, and when I was little, they would play stuff from like the 50s and shit. And now it's like I'll hear stuff from like the 80s and 90s.
Oh, I fucking gagged myself. I was driving to work and I heard fucking Evanescence on like morning radio,
Oof.
and I was like,
I'm sorry.
What is this world? Like,
Hell.
what kind of world do I live in where Bring Me to Life is playing on morning radio? Like, it's like more like I'm used to it just being trashy pop. I also hate, but
Oh, what was it? I heard it actually at a convenience store not too long ago too. And by the way, the internet has thankfully corrupted that song for me because all I can hear is the Goofy version. Wake me up.
Fair. I just always remember I just always remember the fucking Daredevil movie, and then I cringe because I remember that Sam and.
Oh yeah, I fucking associate the Daredevil movie as well. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I always cringe because then it reminds me of my long-standing argument with Sam about the Daredevil TV show.
What's that argument?
Well, basically, we both like it, but he thinks the Daredevil movie, specifically the director's cut, is way better than the TV show. And I'm like, are you actually blind?
Excuse?
Yeah, I know. I have this argument with him about everything, and it never gets anywhere because he never fucking explains his points.
I mean, it is Wrong Opinion Sam.
Yes.
So. You know, there's part of me that would love to just bring him in just so the audience can meet Wrong Opinion Sam.
I wouldn't want to do that to him. I've spent a whole lot of time like cultivating like his mental breakdown, and I want to be the sole cause of it.
Oh,
I want it to be my name that he writes in blood on the padded walls.
You don't want multiple names; you just want one.
Yeah, I want the world to see my work.
It'll be like that fucking scene in the original Ace Ventura movie with like the fucking laces out, except for just Train Man.
Mm.
Or no, it's just Daredevil. Director's cut. Daredevil director's cut.
Oh, what I should do then is I should do that fucking thing they do in the movie where they have him, like, Daredevil leave behind, like, a double D symbol that in gasoline or alcohol or something, so that when, like, a random reporter, like, flicks a match, well, Ben Ulrich, like, flicks a match, it ignites it, because, you know, the blind guy would definitely go and do that, you know?
Yeah.
Fucking, I hate that. The movie's so dumb.
No.
The movie's
That's
probably
not
like
stupid.
part of the reason why superhero movies almost died.
Again.
Oh,
Oh god. Those because it was, don't forget, it was also followed up by like the second one, which was even worse. That was really.
well, it was well, okay.
And then there was also Elektra.
Well, so here's what happened. Daredevil came out in like 03 or whatever. Then 04 you had Catwoman. Pretty disastrous. Okay. And then 05, and then like 05 also brought you Fantastic Four. And yeah, you had Batman Begins, but still air. And then like after that 06 you had Superman Returns. And then 07 you had Superman, and then like 07 you had X-Men 3 and Spider-Man 3. And then Fantastic Four 2. So it's like after a certain point, after like, you know, 2004 is like basically the last. Well, I mean, 04 has Spider-Man 2, and that's kind of like the last year for the good superhero movies of like those early 2000s. Oh, and then 07 also brings you Ghost Rider.
Oh, this reminded me. So you know how Francis Ford Coppola was doing the thing where he was like, "Yeah, the MCU movies aren't good." You know what's really funny?
Yeah.
He said, "Oh yeah, but a Spider-Verse is actually really good." And I'm like, well, that just validated everything he just said. Fuck.
I mean, fair enough. But like, my point is still like, so you have all like a whole string of just garbage superhero movies came out around between 04 and 07. So that's why it then took, and then Dark Knight appears, but haha, Dark Knight's not really a comic book movie when you think about it.
I see what you're doing, Mr. Ebert.
So then it's not until like, was it 2000? I guess it must have been 2008 that Iron Man came out.
Yeah, it was around the time I started college.
So yeah, 08 Iron Man comes out, and then that sort of reignites what was almost dead. And here we are now, kind of in this big sort of grey blob of now what? This is actually probably the longest we've gone without a superhero movie coming out.
In a while, yeah.
Like, I think
And it's only been a few months.
I think the next one is actually like Birds of Prey.
Oh no.
But yeah, that looks pretty bad, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna see it.
You can tell which DC movies are gonna be worse by how much attention DC gave.
Oh, I said. Oh,
the studio.
I guess
No,
I say
you could tell they're not expecting much from it because they're basically allowing a CW show to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about when it was in production, though. Usually, the more they care about a property, the worse it ends up being as a movie.
It's like when Justice League was coming out, and like about a month or two before it came out, you could tell they were like, "This is going to be terrible. What have we done?"
Yeah.
Probably not helped by the massive amounts of reshoots they went through, and then also changing director halfway through.
Well, I thought that was only helpful.
Well, to be fair, like, it wasn't a case of, like, firing Snyder or something. It was, I'm pretty sure he had, like, a family emergency. So,
Yeah, yeah, there was a lot of things going on with him at that time.
So it was not a case of, like, the Snyder's film
and
was so bad that they had to...
I mean, it probably wasn't gonna be good, but that wasn't the reason why.
No, yeah.
But it ends up being a worse movie because it has like this hilarious tonal clash. Because you have what Zack Snyder was doing, and then you have what fucking
Joss Whedon.
Joss, I can only write one type of character. Whedon was doing.
I mean, I was kind of doomed from the start just because you had just such bad blood from Batman v Superman. And
Yeah.
that would have been fine.
Oh no, it wouldn't have. No, I don't think either full version would have been good. A Joss Whedon version or a Zack Snyder.
God, I heard the
Zack Snyder is a great visual, like he's great a visual director, but that's about it.
God, I heard the best like backhanded compliment for a film I've ever heard today, where someone was talking about the new Terminator and they described it as the least worst of the post-Terminator 2 movies. And then they quickly followed up with by like a gnat's dick amount though.
Jesus Christ.
So I'll be glad.
So I know we're over an hour. I'm just gonna wait until I get to an arc point again, and then I'll stop.
God, you feel sorry for Terminator. Like, it was 2 good movies, and it's just stop.
It shouldn't have had a third movie.
I mean, it shouldn't have had a second movie. Let's be real. But...
the second movie was good.
No, it's good, but it's still like, it's the kind of.
I feel like it's a good closing point, though.
But here's the problem: is it almost invalidates itself because so the first movie works because it's all like bootstrap paradox, like circular time loop thing, whatever. Like Skynet creates itself. Skynet destroys itself because by trying to prevent the birth of John Connor, it instead forces the birth of John Connor, etc., etc., etc. So it's like that whole thing of it's a loop. And then
that's a good point.
And then T2 kind of it's not a loop though, because they can stop Skynet from ever existing, which all well and good, but then that also means that John Connor himself should stop existing. And it's that kind of as I said, T2 is obviously a great movie, but it's that thing of if you're talking in terms of it being an unnecessary sequel, it is completely unnecessary. And then every other movie is basically been trying to do something, but they basically want to remake Terminator 2, but
yeah, it's usually like a retread of 2.
But the problem is because you can't just do T2 again, because T2, when you really think about it, doesn't make any sense anyway. It just works. So they then try and go even more nonsense. No, it was a Terminator. It went back in time to kill his own parents. And you're like, what?
Dun, dun, dun!
Okay, so what happens if we have them people show up at Skynet in Salvation, right? But Skynet also has all of these chairs inside, and there's an office building. You're like, why would Skynet, in a sentient AI, live in an office building with chairs? Do the Terminators have to take breaks?
Yes.
Maybe.
It's it's that thing where the more and more you delve, it's not like Alien where you could theoretically always add mythos and stuff. It's pretty closed in terms of what you can and can't do with Terminator, and every time they add more, it just sort of collapses under its own weight. Time travel stuff is dumb and really, really hard to keep track of and keep consistent.
Very, very few, if any, have been able to pull it off and consistently.
It was so bad. Even the CW was like, "Yeah, we've done this enough. No more time travel." Until they do it again, I guess.
So they feel like it.
They've been pretty good about not having every solution be, we should time travel. I need to learn how to go faster.
Yeah. Oh no, Barry, this guy's too fast for you. How will you beat him? I need to learn how to be faster. Oh, okay. It's basically the plot of all season.
Toriyama write this?
No, because I don't think
you need the bigger number.
No, because Barry never goes into the hyperbolic time chamber.
Oh.
Or the equivalent. Man, I fucking remember when Bleach straight up stole that. It was
oh, they literally had a hyperbolic time chamber.
Yeah,
just straight up.
Yeah, time will flow differently here, so we can just train for months on end.
Yeah, they weren't even subtle about it. It's yeah, this is just the hyperbolic time chamber. They might as well just called it the hyperbolic time chamber while they were at it.
Good old Bleach.
Ah, Bleach. I miss you being a thing because you were just so funny.
I mean, after a certain point, it just got sad.
It's true.
At least, but hey, at least it has an ending, unlike One Piece. It will never end.
One Piece
never ends.
Christ, it will actually hit 1,000 chapters within the next year or so.
Yeah, some people are like, oh, I can't believe people won't get into One Piece. I'm like, have you seen how long this thing is?
It is 90 volumes or something ridiculous. It's it is pretty unreasonable, although I think Funimation is about to either restart the dub or start dubbing again because they did a whole post about it. So, but fuck, man, like following the manga is a pain in the ass enough. I don't know how anyone can like watch the series, because it's like, from what I understand, it is like basically 5 seconds of actually moving the plot along and like, you know, 30 minutes of filler.
I like how it's like, do you want to start a side mission? Yes or no? And I'm like, no. The answer is yes. You can only answer yes. Why did you even give me a choice?
It's the
But
Kirby.
thou must.
Thou must.
Second Dragon Quest, whenever you say no, they're like, oh, you don't really mean that.
Or what's her face tries to kick you and then goes,
yeah.
I'm sorry, let's repeat that. Oh yeah, I think you weren't around to say anything, but I was talking about this because it was like someone, I can't remember if it was one of the games where they were like saying play a game with a better story, play Dragon Quest, and I'm like, Dragon Quest games stories kind of suck. They're fun games, but their stories are pretty shit.
I believe they're pretty bare bones. Like, Dragon Quest XI was only notable in that it had been a while since they just played something so straight that it was somewhat refreshing.
And also,
Oh, you just played like a straightforward hero RPG sort of thing.
Yeah,
and also,
but I mean,
like,
basically it's like the big bad evil guy is going to destroy the world. Stop him! No, there's no twist.
the twist is it's twistless.
It's like it's like, as opposed to like, you know, a Tales of game where it's like, and the big bad evil guy is going to destroy the world. Oh, the situation is actually more complicated than you thought.
Or Trails, if you think, hi, I know what the plot is, you don't,
You don't.
because like the other character hasn't shown up to throw a wrench into those work. Oh, I get it. It's all the evil. What's society's plan? Oh wait, no, it's this guy's plan. Oh wait, no, it's the society's plan again. Oh, is it? What about the church, though?
Yeah, what about that church?
The happy-go-lucky church people. You aren't psychopaths.
The only game that is actually straightforward is Zero.
Yeah.
Where it's like, these are the evil guys. What about the society? No, they're not actually in this game. These are the evil guys.
Christ,
Go
like,
beat them.
you don't even like get a hint of actual villains of Sky until basically like the last chapter. But everyone is like seemingly disconnected.
Yeah, it's like, hey, the day is saved. Haha, no.
And then the last chapter is like, by the way, all of those events were interconnected and by this like massive conspiracy. Okay, thanks, bye.
I think it's like hints like early on, and then they just kind of disappear.
I mean, there's like the sense where they're like, hey, there are these like weird guys in black clothing who hang around. But
Like I said, like early on, they like
but it's what
bring
happens.
stuff up.
But it is what happens when like Trails in the Sky 1 and 2 were all meant to be one game. And I imagine.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And yeah, basically what happened is they got about halfway through development, realized it was going to be too huge, and they cut it off at like the.
They did the Sonic 3 and Knuckles thing basically.
Yeah.
Well, it was like they were behind already for a while, and then finally the studio head is like, we have to release something, and he showed him what they had so far, and he was like, all right, this is good enough to just be a good cliffhanger. We'll leave it at that.
Pretty good cliffhanger.
Yeah. Well, but ever since
Isn't,
then
like,
they started
so while
writing.
they were. So wait, when they were developing developing, is that when they also realized they or was it when they started making the in Knuckles part? Is that when they realized they should just have Estelle be the protagonist?
So they were making Sky 1 and 2nd chapter were all going to be one game, which was probably still going to maintain Estelle as protagonist for both. Just
They knew it from the start because it's just like so because it's like, so if we make him the main character and he just like runs off and wants to be alone for the entire second half of the game, so we're either gonna have to have him be entirely by himself, or we can't make him the main character anymore. Okay.
So yeah, they shift to Estelle, and then they they divide the game in two. And did Cold Steel have a similar thing, or was that just they decided to stick with the Sky formula more than anything? Because Cold Steel 1 and 2 is definitely meant to be like play one immediately after the other kind of deal.
It was always it was always intended to be two games, but like they kept losing track of where they were going, and it ended up being 4 games.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how it ended up being. Because I know that one's 4.
Well, soon to be 5, but 5 is probably going to be like
5 is but 5 is an epilogue game.
5 is going to be like Sky 3 was, where 3 is more about these 2 other characters.
How does this game save exactly?
Devastation, I think it auto saves.
Yeah. Okay, so is it save now? Like I just went to the arc.
Probably.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. We have to re-record this whole episode.
Oh no.
Oh boy. It wouldn't be the first time.
It wouldn't even be the second time or the third time.
No.
Sec-
Alright guys, hope you enjoyed Transformers Devastator while we ramble about whatever the fuck we feel like again. Have a good day.